Welcome back. The South Dakota football team hits the road this weekend for Cedar Falls, Iowa to take on the Panthers of UNI, a team that's been playing some of their best ball as of late. But that statement could be said for the Coyotes as well, who are coming off of an impressive shutout of Southern Illinois last weekend. For more on tomorrow's Missouri Valley matchup, here's Jay Elson.
Considering the circumstances, some that were in their control and others that were not, South Dakota's defense delivered without question its most impressive performance of the season in last week's 42-0 shutout of Southern Illinois. The trick now is to replicate that over the season's final month.
That's the kind of defensive team we've got to be, and these next 3 weeks are going to challenge us against some offensive teams that do a lot of things really well, and we've got to be a team that plays great on third down, that forces turnovers, and does the things that we did last week against Southern Illinois.
Their first chance comes Saturday in Cedar Falls. After some early season struggles, Northern Iowa has rebounded to win 2 of its last 3 games.
Offensively, they're a bit more balanced than maybe what they've been in the last couple of years. They're still going to run the football if you let them, but they've got a quarterback that's more of a drop-back, pro-style quarterback that they blend in with that. As always, they're a typical Northern Iowa team, one of the best defensive teams, not just in the conference, but in the country.
The Panthers' offensive resurgence has been sparked by running back Marcus Waymiller. The junior has racked up 371 yards and 4 touchdowns since returning from injury.
He's one of those running backs that's hard to get on the ground. He runs with power and keeps his legs going. I think part of it, too, is that, when he came back, the depth at that position got better for him, and they made even a stronger commitment as part of their offense to run the football. And so we'll have to balance our defense with stopping the run and yet be good enough in coverage because they're pretty talented on the perimeter as well.
The real key, though, according to both head coaches, centers around the Coyote offense. South Dakota, who still leads the FCS in total offense, wants to get back to its explosive ways, while UNI hopes to limit their opportunities.
We've got to have enough consistency running the football that allows us to throw the ball when we want to, but yet balance is going to be a key, and taking advantage of every scoring opportunity will be one of the real key things this week against Northern Iowa.
The key to the whole football game will probably be, one, the defense being able to execute quickly, through a thought process, but it'll also be the offense, because when you play a team like this, the best thing you do is have a good offense to sustain drives, and then your defense is always, ready to go back on the football field no matter how fast they go.
All right, thanks to Jay Elson for that preview. It looks like the Coyotes quarterback will be back. Chris Strevler, who injured his shoulder in the first quarter of the game against Southern Illinois, practiced all week and is officially considered probable. Kickoff Saturday at the Uni Dome is set for 1 p.m. Central Time. It'll be streaming live on ESPN3, and also Jay is on the road with the team, so make sure to follow him on Twitter. That's at Elson Midco SN for the latest updates from Cedar Falls. Well, moving forward, the University of North Dakota is also on the road this weekend, and after a convincing win at Portland State last week, UND football will look to add another road victory to their ledger this weekend in Cedar City against number 17 Southern Utah. The Thunderbirds are 6-2 on the season and have won 4 straight, including 3 wins over ranked opponents. All facts North Dakota head coach Bubba Schweigert is well aware of.
Well, they're playing with a lot of confidence. They have a lot of seniors on their team. I believe it's 22 seniors, and these guys are, been around the block. Played a lot of football, and they're a year older now, and defensively they put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and they're tough up front, so they're hard to run the football on, so that's always going to help them. They get you in those 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs, and then they put pressure on the quarterback. And then offensively, they have a number of different guys. They're spreading the ball around too, and I think the quarterback is playing well, and he kind of makes them go. He's mobile and gets the ball out of his hands quickly. He's hard to sack, and then the running game is solid. So this is a solid football team that's on a hot streak right now, so it'll be a great opportunity for us.
For more now on the Fighting Hawks, let's bring in Alex Heiner from our Grand Forks studio. So Alex, last week's win in Portland was a big one for UND. Even though they're out of playoff contention, how important was that victory for this team?
Well, it was crucial, Kelly. It's not like Bubba Schweigert was in danger of losing this team with another loss. I mean, the character in this group is outstanding. And these guys have fought hard all season. But if you drop that game at Portland State, all of a sudden, you're staring at a 3-game losing skid that could become 5 really fast with 2 ranked teams on the way to close out the year. You've got to have something positive happen at this juncture in the season, especially coming off a disappointing loss to Sac State. That gives this team a much better chance of winning these final 2 games.
Well, another thing about it is UND managed that win against the Vikings despite still being banged up on both sides of the football. Only 6 players total have started all 8 games so far this year. But if there is a silver lining to all the injuries, it's been the number of young players that have gotten significant playing time. So, Alex, who in that group of newcomers has really stood out to you?
Well, you could pick a number of freshmen that have made the most of their opportunity this season. The kids on the offensive line, Noah Mortel, Ryan Tobin, and Nathan Nguyen, they've gotten better every game and should be really good for the next 3 years for this team. And then Jake Rostis and Cam Hunt, they've made plays at middle linebacker. Rostis ranking just outside the top 10 in the Big Sky in tackles this year. But the guy that has really jumped off the film and the stat sheet in last week's game, redshirt freshman outside linebacker Jackson Turner. He started in place of the injured Jade Lawrence, picked up 4 tackles for loss, had a strip sack that was returned for a touchdown, and batted a pass down that was intercepted and returned for a score. The future is really bright for Turner and for this team with those young kids getting more experience.
Great to see them, improving, but they have their work cut out for them this weekend. On the opposite sideline is Southern Utah, who are playing their best football right now. And meanwhile, UND is 0-3 against ranked teams this year. So what do you think needs to happen for the Fighting Hawks to pull off this road upset?
Well, defensively, they need to make Southern Utah one-dimensional. Patrick Tyler is a good quarterback, but UND will need to key on stopping the ground game first and force the senior quarterback to beat them through the air. They'll also need to keep forcing turnovers and win that particular battle. They turned Portland State over 4 times last week, turned 2 of those into touchdowns. And then offensively, they need to finish drives. Reed Taubenheim has been great again this year, but he's attempted 19 field goals. That's the most in the Big Sky, with 8 coming from closer than 30 yards away. UND cannot get inside the red zone and only come away with 3 points this weekend. And then finally, lest we forget, North Dakota did beat this team 45-23 in Grand Forks last year. I think this UND team is as confident and as healthy now as they have been since early in the season, and I would not be surprised if they can pull off the upset.
All right, well, great stuff as always. Thanks so much, Alex. There you go. UND and number 17, Southern Utah, kick things off tomorrow at 6 p.m. from Eccles Coliseum in Cedar City. Coming up after the break, we have some NSIC action coming up on Saturday. Tune in for a preview of Minnesota State Moorhead at Minot State.